This is David Lynn, and you're with me for another edition of Coffee Talk, number 544 live stream. It is 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, what they call Chicago time, Saturday, January the 3rd, 2026. And we are here, hopefully, for another good discussion. Uncle Al, Die Bullfrog 79, how are you doing, sir? Thank you for the like. Got some good stuff to talk about this evening. And I got a good one that happened to be. I am always having stuff happen to me. And when a few more people get in, I will tell you about Uncle Al. In the meantime, I am drinking Nescafe coffee. Good stuff. And it's got Carnation Creamer, the liquid creamers, the originals. Excellent. Excellent coffee. Mmm. We won the war with Venezuela in 4 hours. Yeah. You know, Iran declared war on us. The mullah, the poobah, the mullahs, the gurus, or whoever the hell they are. I'm joking, of course. I know who they are. Um, declared war on the United States a couple of days ago. And they're talking about building nuclear weapons. I remember I used to watch, well, I've got them all on DVD, the Star Trek movies. And Walter Koenig, who played Mr. Chekhov, they were in San Francisco looking for the nuclear vessels. The nuclear vessels. Uh, Star Trek 4: The Voyage Home. They needed to save the future by repopulating humpback whales. Oh Lord, little movie of trivia for you. They don't make them the way they used to. You know, William Shatner, I think he's around 95 years old right now. He's one of the I think he's one of the few that's still alive. I think Walter Koenig's about 90. I think he's still alive. Most of them are gone. Hello, Dave. How are you doing? Thank you for coming. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I know there are several people in here right now. Only you and Mr. Sato have identified yourselves. But just to tell you all the story, the latest of the latest adventure. So everybody should know that health insurance after the first of the year really went up for a lot of people. And I changed my wife's health insurance. I have retirement care through the state of Texas. I used to have my wife on my retirement care, but it's not as good. It doesn't cover as well for the spouse as it does for the primary. So I switched to a different insurance. Still Blue Cross, but it's a different insurance, carrier. And So because prices were going up, and I shopped around, and I got her a private insurance, a PPO. She had an HMO, and I got her private insurance for about $100 less than I would have paid for if I'd have continued the previous insurance that I had her on. So I before the end of the year, I canceled the other insurance, and I got a confirmation that the insurance had been canceled. And I made a payment for the new insurance that took effect January the 1st. And then it'll start coming out, each month starting in February. Well, they took out another payment over $700. That's how much it was going up. It was actually going up over $250 a month, the insurance that I had her on. So the stuff that I got her on now is like $614 a month, and it's paid for and it's current. So I had to contact Blue Cross, the particular, said, hey guys, I canceled and before the end of the year, effective the end of the year, I got a confirmation email, but y'all took out the payment. Well, blah, 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 blah. Long story is, I'll probably get it back in about 2 weeks. That's $700 and some odd dollar payment. It'll come back to me, back into my account in about 2 weeks. So that's the type of BS that I have to deal with. Man, my blood pressure, I was so pissed it was not funny. Excuse the language. Wow, seems like we're here, just the two of us today. There's four in the house apparently, but only Dave and Uncle Al have identified themselves. Are you there, Johnny? Are you lurking out there, Johnny? Johnny, my friend John, had breakfast with him and my friend Robert this morning. If you are, say hello. Let me know you're there. Oh, Lord. Yeah, it is terrible. And I'm sitting at 2,199. It briefly went up to 2,200. And then I got a congratulations, and then, it dropped back down. So I'm sitting at 2,199. And that's terrible. Sue them? Oh, I don't think I can sue Blue Cross. I'm not going to, mess with suing Blue Cross of Texas. The other thing is, you have to find an attorney that would be willing to take the case. I'm not going to mess with that. As long as they give me back my money. 2688. Susanna Morrison, good evening, young lady. Thank you for stopping in. Susanna Morrison has a very good channel. She puts out good content. Beautiful young lady with a beautiful young daughter. She's over across the other side of the world. And I appreciate her. Thank you so much for coming in. And truth be told, I think Susanna and her main channel and my friend Dave's main channel are about the same size. Both a little bit over 40,000. Dave popped up over 41,000 apparently. He's growing like a weed. Hello, Gary. How are you doing? Gary is a friend from the UK. He and his partner, better half, Miss Anne Marie Angel, both have wonderful wonderful content. Like to watch them make their puzzles. Linda Elliott, how you doing? Thank you for coming. Hello, Anne Marie. Thank you. You know, they in order for them to come into my live stream, it's like 1 o'clock where they're at. They're like my kid and her husband. They stay up real late. Oftentimes, I'll be contacted by my kid. She'll text message me or, contact me at like 2 o'clock in the morning, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and but of course, we're Central Time, so they're about 5 hours later right now over in the UK. Now, as far as Susanna Morrison is concerned, she is about 13 hours ahead of us, so it's the next day. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning over in the Philippines where she's at. KP Heathen, how you doing? Another gentleman who puts out some really good content. And his post, he puts out some images, just awesome images. He posts a lot of images, and I comment on a lot of images that he posts. I get them in my feed. And he is working on trying to hit his first 1,000 mark. So as I was saying, by the way, David, me math and geography do not mix, LOL. I hear you, young lady. I actually, I'm the product of a private school education, and I was educated by a lot of the Irish, and they're on the metric system. So I learned the metric system. I learned the metric system. And they used the metric system. I also had them mess my spelling up because they were always correcting me. Excuse me. I would use U.S. spelling, and the English spelling is different. They put more vowels in their words, like COLOUR, color with a U. Just one example. And they are always correcting my spelling, and it's like, hey, this is the United States. This is how we spell over here, and they laugh at me and keep correcting me. Yes, nuns with rulers. Yeah, but no. Social studies, English, and social studies were always my favorite subjects. I loved writing. I loved reading, literature, poetry, history, geography. That was all my, philosophy, theology. I loved that stuff. I got by with science, and I hated math. Well, I did really well with basic math. When you started getting into the algebra stuff, I had no use for it. Just got through it. Yeah, that joke about the Irish Spring. Good one. The Irish soap, yes. The green soap, yeah. The Irish are well known for their potatoes. Um, Irish potatoes. Yeah, that'd be a groan. That would be a groan. So let me repeat this because there are a few more people in here just to tell you the crap that happened to me today. So, because the insurance after the first of the year went up significantly for most people, I shopped around for a better policy to save some money because the policy that I had on my wife was going to go up over $250 a month. So I found a different policy, not through the marketplace, but a private insurance, which was a PPO as opposed to an HMO, which was the marketplace. I had an HMO with Blue Cross, and I got a PPO, which means you don't have to have a doctor refer you for specialists and such. You can just make your own appointments. Anyway, Unkael, how you doing, Enrique? You'll like this one. So I switched before the end of the year. I switched and I got a confirmation that I had canceled my prior policy effective the end of the year. New policy took effect January the 1st. I had made my prepayment for my new policy, and it's going to start coming out February the 1st. It'll start coming out automatically. In the meantime, I made my payment and everything and activated my new policy. And they should not have taken out for my prior policy. But lo and behold, today, which is the 3rd, I checked my account and they debited it for my other insurance, which had been canceled on my wife. Mad as hell. Went to the bank, let them know I'm disputing it, and contacted Blue Cross. Oh, well, yes, you did. I said, I got confirmation he canceled, and all that prior to. Oh, well, it was sort of in the pipeline and they took it out. But we know we owe it back to you, so you'll get it probably in 2 weeks. In the meantime, they took out over $700, which I'm not, as long as I get back, I'm okay. It doesn't hurt me, but it aggravates the hell out of me, Uncle Al's solution is sue them. Pre-retirement days. How you doing? Whenever I think of pre-retirement days, I think of comfort food. That was part of the name, comfort food. Summer Sun. How you doing, Julianne West, my friend? Another friend from the UK, Julianne West. Please leave a like to support the channel. It will be greatly appreciated. It's not cost effective to sue over 700. Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. I am really wanting to go to an attorney to get assistance with getting disability for my wife. Really feel like she should qualify for disability with all the trouble she's had, consistent trouble with her health. And we've already applied once and were turned down. And I really think that an attorney would probably be able to help us. And I'm really seriously considering doing that. So I've got one more day off, which is tomorrow, and then I go back. We'll have had 16 days off for Christmas break, and I'll be going back to work. Yeah, well, I'm blasting them right now. Um, Disability. Well, yeah, it'd be like it would be like, yeah, it'd be disability. It would be through Social Security, through the Social Security system. I guess it would be like Medicare, Medicaid, something like that. I don't know. My wife doesn't work, and she hasn't worked since we've been married. Um, Basically, they say she has income because of me, because I have income, and I have pretty good income. So they say she didn't qualify because I can take care of her, you know. But that's where I'm at on that. So I've been acquiring various connectors and such. Like, as an example, just to show you, you have what's called USB. So this is a USB. This is USB-C. It's an adapter. You get cords and such. These are USB-Cs to Lightning. USB-C female to a Lightning, which is basically my phone uses a Lightning. It's Lightning, goes into my phone. Keep it charging. Battery's not as 100% charge on it. The battery's not that good. But I don't want to buy a new phone right now. I got my daughter a reconditioned iPhone 14 Pro for Christmas. One of the things I gave her a MacBook Air. I gave her a nice 3-in-1 printer, brother. 3-in-1. It's black and white, but nice printer. Uses a nice cartridge, thousands of copies per cartridge, spare cartridges. And then I gave her the iPhone 14 Pro, which was reconditioned in excellent condition. She liked it. I mean, I hooked her up. I hooked the girl up. So it'll help her with her business and everything. And they didn't have a printer. Her husband has a nice computer, and she was using the iPad or the iBook Air, the MacBook Air that I had bought her when she was in college. So it's probably 8. That was probably 8, 9 years old. So I gave her an updated one. You know, the kid, I just took, you take care of your family. Yes, it's an adapter for connecting cables. Everything pretty much charges with like my wife had got this for me for my birthday. Oh. Charger connector. But this one's slightly different, But everything's lithium batteries, charges everything. Yep, 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 yep. So, I want to talk a little bit tonight about what's going on in the news. These I came up with myself. The grandkid. And no, that's not me, but that's the grandkid, about a month old, almost a month old in this picture, a little less than a month old. God, I'm jealous of the hair. The kid's got hair, Technically, he's 3/4 Hispanic and 1/4. Well, yeah, 1/4 me, I guess. Would that make him a mini me? Well, but he's got nice hair, and he doesn't have a beard. Wait till he gets older. Probably have the beard, but his hair will be dark, whereas I was a blonde. Gotta laugh about that one. Yep, Santa pictures. I used to do Santa Claus back in the day with the kids in school. And I am drinking coffee. Nescafe with little carnation creamers. Oh, I hear the dog out there probably barking at the neighbors or somebody. Oh, and as I had said before, had done an unboxing. This is a previous unboxing. 100-pack of powdered carnation creamers. Thank God Monday's trash day. Drinking bourbon. You go, Cloud, little R&R. Had breakfast with my friends this morning that I'd worked with back in the days. They're both retired educators, and we were talking and said, hey, I was planning on coming over and visiting you. I was going to get you a bottle of bourbon. And no, I'd have to give it away. He's a teetotaler now. Doctor made him give up the alcohol. So, food, forest, permaculture. Organic red wine. That's good stuff. Good stuff, Howie. Red wine's good for your heart. A dry red wine. Nice and sweet. That'd be good stuff. Howie, please leave a like. People are not leaving likes. Some of y'all did not leave me a like. Please leave a like to support the channel. I always, when I come in, I always leave a supportive comment and I always leave a like. And for those of you who want to be involved or want to be in my drawing, the last 5 videos, remember, I haven't counted the fact that I hit 2,000 or 2,200. So I still need one more and it needs to stick. But I'll be checking. I'll be making my list. And for those of you who've left me a nice supportive comment, a like on the last 5 videos I will have released, long form videos. And I'm not releasing anything else right now, so what you see out there is what you got. I'll make my list and I'll figure out who did, and then we'll do a video of the 2,200 subscribers. So if you want to participate, it's not too late. Make sure and check. Don't say, oh, I didn't know I missed one. I'm sorry. You need to do it on each of the last 5. It's for fairness for the ones who do. 10 watching, 11 likes. Well, thank you for that. So let's start with a topic that's near and dear to me. It actually, I set Gary off today. That I was over at theirs, and I said something to her about that Trump had sent law enforcement in to arrest Maduro. It was like, oh, he sent the bobbies in. That's what I think the British refer to their law enforcement sometimes as bobbies. I joked and I said he sent police in to arrest Maduro for. They went in and they got him for. He got indicted, charged for drug trafficking and weapons violations. So I was joking about the fact that they probably sent Walker Texas Ranger in. Said send in a Texas Ranger to get him. Did you know Chuck Norris, who lives in his primary residence is in Houston, Texas, which is about a little less than a 2-hour drive north of me. He's 85 years old now. He still, occasionally does these commercials, and I mean, I'm sure he dyes the beard and everything. He works out, and he looks 85 years old. Chuck Norris, Karate Man, you know. He did all those movies, Send in Chuck Norris, he'll take care of the problem. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I will do. I tell you what, probably the next video I do will be the 2,200 subscriber giveaway. But after that one, the next one after that one will probably be the menu number 4. I've got it up there. I got a tray right there with it. I opened the bag up. I was looking to see what's in it. I mean, I'm ready to go on it. Just hadn't done it. But Dave, I will get that one done for you. Yeah, it was a good laugh. It was a good laugh, Anne Marie. And Anne Marie is sweet as an angel. She counts Gary as one of her kids. So she's got a couple of pets, and then she counts Gary as the other kid, And he's a real nice young man. They're nice young people, and they talk freely, and they've got a few people who come in, Rocket and Nicole, and there are a few people that come in religiously that come into their life. And we were talking about Celsius and how cold it was, and and she was saying it, talking about temperatures. And I don't even remember what she said it was. And then I said, okay, let's see, how's that go? And I know it was like freezing. It's like around 19 degrees, 20 degrees, somewhere along there. I said, that's about as cold as it's ever been, U.S. I think she said it was like -2 Celsius or -4 Celsius. God, I gotta do the translation again. Anyway, it was real cold there, and she said they had a light sprinkling of snow, and then it basically a dusting of snow. We've had snow a few times where I'm at in Victoria, Texas. Doesn't happen often. Yeah, good laugh. Talking about, all the greats are pretty much gone. I was joking about, well, they could send Clint Eastwood, down with his 44 Magnum. Did you know Clint Eastwood? He's still around, but he's 95 years old now. Clint Eastwood's 95. And talking about John Wayne, if John Wayne were alive, he would probably be 110, 115 years old. And all the greats are gone. All the greats are gone. So the U.S. launched a strike on Venezuela, and Maduro and his wife were captured. They were transported to the U.S. to New York, and the U.S. Attorney General Bondi announced Maduro and the wife had been indicted in New York on drug charges and weapon charges. The strike was conducted in coordination with U.S. law enforcement. Information was from CNBC, NBC, CBS, CNN, Fox News. All the suspects did reports on it. And you can say, well, they went into a sovereign country and they, went in and they took the acting president, or the purported president of the country. Um, Venezuela basically is falling apart under socialism. Whether you like what the Trump administration did or you don't like what the Trump administration did, really went in and took out somebody who was not helping his people. Um, so what they do, they use to justify intervention. Have you heard of the Monroe Doctrine? The Monroe Doctrine was declared by President James Monroe in 1823. He warned European powers against further colonization or interference in the Western Hemisphere, asserting it was a separate sphere of influence for the United States. Basically telling the Europeans, you stay over in Europe, let us worry about, you know, let us worry about our backyard. 1823, the Monroe Doctrine. And it's been practiced off and on ever since. So, did everyone have a great Christmas? I hope everyone had a great Christmas. I hope everyone had a great Christmas. The United States invaded Panama mid-December 1989, which was at the start of George H.W. Bush's presidency. He was a one-term president, and he came in after Reagan. They went in to Panama, and they actually went in with a fairly large force. I think 27,000 troops. They went in to Panama, and they got General Manuel Noriega, and they got him for racketeering and for drugs, narcotics. And they took him in the United States. They tried him, and he was sentenced to 40 years. And that for drug trafficking. And that was in 1989. Prior to that, the next incident prior to that, you had President Reagan went into Grenada, little island. There was a group of American med students. There was a medical university there, and there was a group of med students, American med students, and they went in reportedly to protect med students because the Cubans had sent in some troops. There were some Cuban troops there, and they went in to go deal with the Cubans, and take care of the Cubans. And they went in, the Marines went in. There was a movie made about it, Heartbreak Ridge, and Clint Eastwood. And at that time, he was probably 50 years old. So we're talking 45 years ago, maybe, that they made that movie was probably made 35, 40 years ago. I forget the date on it. He was older. He played a Marine, a gunnery sergeant who had a platoon, recon platoon. His battalion was deployed. They went in there and they had a little bit of combat, and And that happened, you know, because of the language and because of certain things that they didn't approve of. They lost the military or the government's approval for the movie, but the movie was made. It was an excellent movie, but they didn't approve of the language or the way, um, Clint Eastwood portrayed, the character. They cuss, and just, but they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to portray it that they cussed, so. But that was an excellent movie. And that was another 47K. All right, let's see, 47K. $47 killed? Is that what happened? What's this 47K, Uncle Al? Hello, Mom. Hey, Rachel. Mama Full Boys, how you doing? Well, I had a bunch of folks exit. They must not like me talking about, my topic for this evening. And I apologize if that's the case. Not everybody likes 1,000. 47,000. 47,000 what, Uncle Al? I'm a little dull right now. Was that death toll or something? Related to something? I don't know. Yeah, people are funny. That is true. Anyway, I wanted to talk about that because it's something significant. What happened, and the Democrats are raising hell about it. They're going to raise anytime anything happens that, and it's not one of their people, because Obama, he bombed, he sent in, he did a lot in a lot of different countries. And they never complained about Obama, what Obama did. But let Trump do it. Oh, ground troops, yeah, in Panama, 47,000. I had heard it was 27,000, but you're probably right, Uncle Al. They did go in with quite a few troops. And, and back then, with the technology and the way things were, probably needed to, probably needed to. And they weren't playing around. And we're talking about the Panama Canal, and they had to protect the canal and the canal zone and everything. And we had a right to do that. But we'll have to see what happens now in Venezuela. My understanding is they're basically blockading them so that they can't export any oil. They're trying to prevent them from sending out any drugs, which they got started with the drugs, and now they're basically intervening against tankers and such. And the Chinese are howling because one of those tankers was taking oil to China, and they desperately need fuel. They desperately need fuel. And they're basically, preventing them from being able to do it. They're trying to stop them from being able to do it. the Chinese are mad about everything. They think, uh, they think they're God's gift of creation, and they're very arrogant. They've got everybody around them pissed off. I mean, all the little nations around them, they basically bully everybody. They're equal opportunity bulliers. They bully everybody. They're even looking at Siberia. They're looking at wanting to retake some of the land that Russia got from them way back when. So Putin's looking at them. Fuel for their carriers. Their carriers aren't worth a crap. They don't really have a blue water. All these ships and everything that they're making, they really do not have a blue water navy. Their navy is basically designed to be a coastal, basically fight in the coast. They're geared to try to take Taiwan eventually. That's what their navy is geared for. That's what their military is geared for, to basically try to retake. They just desperately want Taiwan. Because it basically, the nationalists fled after the war, and after basically they wound up and they fled to Taiwan and a few islands out there, and Mao, they never had the power to try to take it back from them, and now they're Xi's ultimate goal is that he wants to get Taiwan, even if it breaks them. Yeah. 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 Well, I mean, they know what they're doing. The Trump administration, they're not playing. I mean, the thing is, it's just that they've only had a year since they came back into power. They've only had 1 year, and they've got goals, and they're doing what they need to do, and they're working on what they need to work on. And now it's just that, just, are the people going to be bright enough to keep the Republicans in control of the House? Otherwise, all the Democrats will try to do is just disrupt until Trump leaves. That's all they want to do, is they just want to disrupt. That's all they can do, is disrupt. No matter what they accomplish, they don't give them credit for a damn thing. And I'm sorry, but just. The facts are the facts, and I'm sorry if you don't like the facts. It's the facts, And there are people that will argue they want to argue with the facts, and just, it is what it is. Fuel for their carriers. Yeah, well, the Chinese have basically built one. If you want to call it a decent carrier, they basically have one decent carrier, and then they got two pieces of crap that you want to just call them training carriers. It's like the Russians. They've got one old piece of crap carrier that's got to be towed. If you want to take it out to sea, it's got to be towed. It's not, but they refuse to get rid of it because that way they can say they have a carrier. Yeah, they backed a lot of radical. It's like the left's money. They're going after all the socialists. I mean, they support the socialists. And like the Muslim money, got Mendani, the socialists and the Muslims. They got Mendani elected. Now they got a communist in New York City. I know they're building carriers, but they've only got one. They've got two piece of shit carriers, Uncle Al. They really are piece of crap carriers. They're jokes. You basically call them training carriers. One of them they got from the Ukraine, I believe. They got it from the Ukraine. And they basically spent 20, 25 years rebuilding it, trying to put it back into service. It's a piece of junk training carrier. It's got one of those little launch ramps type things. They can't even launch aircraft with a full load of fuel because it won't take off. You know, they've got two of those, and then they've got one that they built that's, conventional powered, but it's more of a, it'll have a catapult launch, system. They're trying to learn. They're trying to learn about carriers. They're way behind. They're trying to learn about carriers. Um, there's some things that the Chinese have that's good, but their carriers are jokes. And I mean, I give them credit for they're building a big navy, but it's not really a blue water navy. It's a navy designed to try to take Taiwan. The other thing is, Japan. They got Japan pissed off. Japanese, they want to fear somebody. The Japanese are rearming. They got the Japanese pissed off, and the Japanese is spending money. Yeah, made in China. Yep, made in China. That's what it'll say. Made in China. But I don't know. China, sort of like Russia, they have purged their best military leaders, their generals and such. Anybody that doesn't agree with the president, they got purged. So they don't really have a really good leadership team. They basically have a bunch of yes men. And their goal is to be ready for an invasion, I think, in a couple of years, like 27 or 28. So we're desperately trying to build. That's just like the B-21 Raider. They're flying them now. And they're really building the thing. They're building them and they're flying them. And they've turned a couple of them over to the U.S. military, and they're flying them now. And they're flying basically what you call Black Project stealth fighters that are a lot better than the F-22s. They're faster. They've got a lot more range. They've got new missiles, long-range missiles, air-to-air missiles and such. They're really the thing is they just need to build them in quantity. They're sixth generation, but they need to build them in quantity. That's the thing, getting it in quantity. It's like they've got different systems that they're producing now, but they've got to build them in quantity. Like they've got what they call, it's the replacement for the SR-71. It's like more than twice the speed of an SR-71. Flies a lot higher. It's stealth. And they're flying them, but they got to build them in quantity. They're putting lasers on ships now. They're retrofitting, and the new ships that they're launching, they have lasers to and they're deploying them now. So, it is what it is. SD Mountain Man. Hello, Scott. Thank you for coming. They want to retire the B1s. They've got 19 B2s. They want to retire them. And they've got a bunch of the B-21 Raiders in production right now. They're building them as fast as they can, and they've already turned some over to the U.S. military they're considered operational. So they're capable of flying missions now. So chances are I will hit my next target overnight, probably tomorrow. I'll start working on the subscriber giveaway. Remember, if you want to be in the drawing, Scott, listen to me. If you want to be in the drawing, remember each of the last 5 that I've done, check to make sure you left me a comment, supportive comment on each of the last 5 that I've done. I'm not doing any more until I do the subscriber giveaway. And that'll be the next video. And then I'm planning on doing my MRE menu number 4. And I am working on sending out some boxes to people. So it'll be like a late Christmas for some of y'all. Please remember that. Leave me a like and a supportive comment on each of the last 5. And hopefully we'll have a winner. In the meantime, got to go back to work Monday. I need to order some sideboards for my truck. I had ordered some, and then the vendor canceled the order. They said they needed more information. These were for a Ford Ranger. They haven't changed the size of it. It came out in 19, so 19 to 26. I got a 25. And it's a dual, I guess what you'd call it's a 4-door. And, just dealing with idiots. They sent me a refund and canceled the order because I said I had a quad cab. Well, quad is 4. It's like, what's the 4-door? It's a quad cab. But I didn't use their term. So they said, well, it won't fit. It's for a 4-door Ranger. It will fit. I called up and I got all over Amazon about it. So I've got to reorder. Well, they need more information. I know what I'm ordering. You know where you need to send it. I paid you for it. Send me the damn running boards. It's a step up. A lot of trucks come with them. Sometimes you got to go ahead and aftermarket put them on. My wife is short. She needs a ladder to get up into the truck. I just have to order some. It is what it is. So anyway, I will be back tomorrow for another stream Sunday, and I'll probably going to go back to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. We may know who the winner is tomorrow evening Check back in to make sure you find out. I appreciate you guys. Everybody, please remember the Scout motto is be prepared. Prepper model, be prepared. You never know what's going to happen. And everybody have a blessed day. And I appreciate you guys coming in. And I'm sorry if my topic offended anybody. You know, I really think they did a good thing by getting rid of Maduro. Hopefully it'll help their country. And hopefully we'll be back tomorrow for another edition of Coffee Talk. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. And have a blessed day. And Gary and Anne Marie and Julianne West, thank y'all for coming in from the UK. I know it's like 1 o'clock. It's almost 2 o'clock in the morning over there where you guys are. And appreciate y'all. And God bless you. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow on your live stream. Bye-bye.